Been really good today, Johnny, seeing all of these teams that have got the pressure on them really starting to step up. And two of the teams about to take to the field right now. FaZe and G2 have looked great today. G2 even taking a perfect sweep in the last round against Space Station Gaming. So this should be very interesting indeed. Might even be a little bit of a precursor to what we've got for the rest of the weekend.
Well, it's going to be huge. This is such a massive match for two teams that are still in the running for that top 6. Making championships is all that these guys care about. And seeding is everything going into tomorrow's matches, especially with the groups being as wide open as they are. Now, early Chicago had a big chance there. He's still lurking around at the back wall, trying to drop it down towards Dries. He's denied by Gyro. That's a good start for G2. No reward as of yet.
Over in Group A as well, their main competition, Shopify Rebellion, also winning their matches. They beat Envy in the last round. All three of those teams looking outstanding today, but we're going to see if they can continue it. And JNAP's shot right down the middle. Illusion is good enough to try and keep that one out. But so far, G2 have had all the pressure. Now they're looking to try and convert it. Nobody midfield. The ball's been left around for so long. Chicago can get it back onto Dries, who seems to have consistently been the target. Just can't quite get the amount of space needed to pull off the shots.
That sort of aggressive move by Dries is exactly what Chicago was talking about in his interview, though. That's what they want him to be doing. They play a 3-man offensive style, but oh, they need defense right now. JNAPs lifting the ball safely away from their goal. The crossbar had them covered, but even after that, JNAPs needed to keep control of the ball there. As dangerous as it is to have the ball near your goal, it's worse when it's open. And now Chicago does his job. So it's everybody really showing up early for G2. I like what I'm seeing from them communication-wise. They've handled a couple of tricky positions there, but that's a miss from Dries, though. JNAPs backing him up. And, you know, they've got to keep on covering each other like this. It's going to get more and more nerve-wracking the longer this game and this series goes.
Well, midfield battle, this has not been so far. It's like they're doing shuttle runs from either side. As Illusion shows off the class. What a goal to kick us off.
Wow. I had to blink twice there, make sure it was Illusion. This is what AJ's been doing for FaZe all year. Now Illusion with this solo carry, quite literally, takes the ball over the entire G2 Esports lineup. Huge goal, and massive for FaZe, because they often look to AJ to be the guy to make those kind of plays. When he doesn't, they don't look like the same threat. They don't look like the same kind of team. Well, Illusion continue.
He's going again.
Oh my goodness, he's done it! Oh! Illusion! 2 massive goals off air dribbles from his own half.
What is that? Illusion! He'll never want this 5 minutes to end. This has been incredible from him. And it's been a game that really has lent itself towards a lot of individual space, waiting to see who could pull out the play. And I 100% agree with you, Johnny. Looking at the players on the field, Illusion is not the first name that would have come to mind. Now it's not for Dries. It's straight down. Ooh. And JNAPs can take it after a defensive mistake.
Quick response from G2, and it's Dries setting it up. Gyro and AJ running out of boost on the back wall there. Neither of them had anywhere close to 100, so it was a bit awkward for them. Well played though by G2. They were the team to put the pressure on them, seal the boost away in the first place. You know, I'm only thinking about one thing right now though, that Illusion hat trick. Where's it going to be? Give this man the ball in your half. Just air dribble Illusion, please, air dribble. It's working pretty well so far.
All we've got left now is for the triple reset for the 3rd goal that he's going to get off the game. After the game gone, G2 looking to try and put themselves right back in it, and with the amount of offense that we're seeing so far, why not? That earlier demo coming in massive. Chicago very late to move in for his eventual shot. Dries almost faked out AJ. Now the extra one. JNAPs takes the crossbar. Chicago puts it too high as well. And it's a monstrous save from AJ. That 2-1 lead is going to stay, but for how much longer?
Great defense from AJ. I'm really liking the G2 attack at the same time, though. It's a good performance on both sides. And the FaZe defense has really had to show up to just keep this 1-goal lead intact. That's a miss from Illusion, though. Free for Dries, but he wasn't there fast enough. Gyro was first on the scene. But now here's Chicago, top corner. G2 tie it up.
What a game this has been so far. The momentum consistently starting to shift hands. Chicago powers that one top corner. And game 1 very much up for grabs. Both of these teams looking for that statement. Haven't lost so far. I think both teams looking at V1, especially at 0-2 right now, will feel confident about making it through to the playoffs. But you want to send a statement to your nearest rivals. Not only are we going to make our way into that top 6, we're going to get even further than that when we get to the championships. Streez puts that right into the path of Gyro. Had to be very, very tricky with where he's put the ball so far because both teams very aggressive with where they've been placing their players. AJ takes his time. He's got a little bit of space, instead allows Drees to play off the backboard. Awkward bounce for everybody. G2 was not able to fully extend the attack. They've at least managed to maintain possession, at least until then. Now to break away to the other side of the field. JNaps ends up leaving in. That's on target. AJ had to figure that one out real quick. That's even more. It's off the post.
What? Well, that's a couple of quick scares for FaZe. And they didn't have great coverage on either of them. Now Drees with a beautiful double. It's gone into the off. Oh no! What is happening, Shogun?
I mean, how am I supposed to know, dude? Look at that, Drees. Great goal. Even better teamwork. That is a 2-goal comeback that you're going to remember for some time if it finishes like this. Chicago is going to try and make it another one up. JNaps looking for Drees. He's got another one.
Wow.
4-2. And FaZe will look back at this and wonder what on earth. I mean, I say FaZe will look back at this and wonder what on earth happened. We're all going to be looking back on this and wondering what on earth happened.
Alush's LFT after this one. He's thinking, what do I need to do to get a win against G2 here? I've scored 2 unreal goals and then my teammates accidentally dunked on me to put us 1 goal down late in the game. It's a nightmare. I mean, this is the game that you will never forget, Alution. It really does ruin the mood, doesn't it? When you score a couple of goals like this, you can't wait to save the replay, but now he's torn. Do I save the replay? It's a loss. You know, do I want that on my replays folder in game? Oh, poor Alution. He really wants MVP here.
The folder's going to be out there somewhere in the world.
Yeah. I mean, MVP for Alution, easy in this game. Not even close. And they've lost 4-2. So G2, credit to them. They needed to really settle themselves down here, especially when you're playing FaZe and someone who isn't AJ does that to you. You really have to focus. And they did. They took the chances. They kept on attacking with all 3 players, like Chicago indicated in their in the pre-match interview. And they've scored 4. Well, they scored 3. Actually, FaZe scored 1 of them for them. Still counts though, and G2 have the lead.
I mean, biggest credit I've got to go to here is G2's quality of striking. So in front of net, in the other side of the field, they've not had what I would consider to be a bad hit on the ball. Nothing that's hit the ceiling when they're trying to clear, when they're taking shots. It's pure power at the net, and that means that the offense has hit that tempo that they've always enjoyed playing at. So for G2, just keep this up. The 2 goals that you conceded were both outstanding. The rest of your gameplay was as good as it is going to need to be. And I just hope for more games like that one, Johnny. We can overanalyze all we want to. Just give me more Rocket League like that, and I'll be a very, very happy person.
I mean, a lot of these group stage matches early in the tournament are, a relaxing affair where you start to see what teams are going to be doing throughout the weekend. But that was about as far away from relaxing as you can imagine. It was brilliant. I want to see more from Alution like what we just saw. And you never know, AJ could have that kind of pop-off game here. Even Gyro. I mean, I think Alution all season has been the last person you'd expect to do what he just did. It was mostly AJ and Gyro on occasion. But as for G2, they, I think, played a much more solid team game. They were communicating brilliantly, and I also rate their mental fortitude more than FaZe, who have been a bit emotional in their losses at times. There's Gyro double touch into the post. That's G2 defender had it at least in his vision, which is 1 up on the late goals that were firing towards FaZe net in the first game.
I think if you're a fan of either side, as Gyro gets another good challenge for himself, and he is just throwing JNaps into the ceiling. I think if you're a fan of either side here, you'll be happier as the G2 fan, 1 with the win, and 2 with no point at describing that performance if we say the word pop-off. That looked like something you can do 2 more times for like every single game. As for FaZe, having that big player, you're not going to see every single time, but for G2, they can rinse and repeat this.
This is what they want to be doing. They want Dries attacking the ball early, and he looks like he's absolutely slotted into the rotation here. It's not a Chicago JNAPS 1-2 punch combo. Dries is really getting involved, and he's been brilliant for G2 since joining the roster. He's made the solo plays, he's made the defensive plays. Oh, Gyro's just chipped that one. Don't know if he had a angle at the shot. Actually, he's boost started, so maybe couldn't get around it. You know, for G2 fans, this is exactly where they want Dries to be. Just joining that 3-man offensive rotation that G2 are so famous for, and using his mechanical ability to shine just as he has been for the latter half of this split.
Oh, look at that as a pass. JNAB's already up with Chicago. Two mainstays of G2 already combining very well, but that was a little bit wasteful from Dries, almost infield passing to the defense. And now we see the breakaway attempt. AJ already up, Chicago just that bit quicker, and once again is the lofted clear. Dries doesn't need to do a thing. That was quick.
That's a disgusting read by Chicago. It's so much more difficult for the defender to read that bounce that's directly overhead, and not only has he read the bounce and gotten to the ball at the same time as the attacking player, who's got an easier read than him, he's completely dusted him. He's left him absolutely irrelevant in the play. JNAPS trusted Chicago to do that, which is even more crazy. He's already making that run down the center of the field. He knows that Chicago's got that. And I mean, after seeing how confidently Chicago hit it, I don't blame him. That's going to be another one. JNAPS slots in his hat trick, and it is the Chicago JNAPS combination that's firing at full speed now. Chicago again beating his man to the ball clean.
They haven't required anyone to be brilliant in these last two games. Every single player is just being great in their own right, and 3-0. Fully deserved. G2 look to have found another level to themselves. And kind of alarmingly as well, Johnny, they're building goal opportunities from their own clears and their own side of the field. We're so used to G2 being that team that is just harassing you in offense for ages to the point you've just got nothing left. This has just been, hey, yeah, you've got 2 players downfield. That means you've only got 1 left when we send this long ball for someone to try and follow up.
Yeah, it's a good point, and a lot of G2 success historically. Oh, that's gone in off AJ's touch, so Lucian just getting the right side of the post here after AJ centers it towards him. JNAPS should be doing better with that clear. That wasn't ideal, but obviously it's awkward to try and knock the ball into a position that Lucian won't be able to utilize. So Lucian is positioned brilliantly to make it difficult on JNAPS. But like I was saying, G2 haven't looked vulnerable too often here, and that's something that was often the case back in the day when they were dominating and they were playing that all-in, that full aggression style in offense. Here's AJ. He doesn't have a dodge available. He would have liked to use one. Now Lucian also getting stuck in once again, but it's at the expense of another goal. Or is it? Great defense. AJ throws himself in the way of the near post. Chicago just a fraction of a second too slow to slot in the open net.
For FaZe, that bounce was about as neat as it had to be for them. Didn't ricochet off in a quick way that allowed the space to open up for another shot. Lucian has to just cut over, can't run onto the ball. Over to the ceiling, him and Gyro want to try and force some sort of pinch. Couldn't quite manage it. Breeze to JNAPS, another mid-air. This is an interesting way of passing. We've got so used to seeing teams go from goalkeeper to player on the wall. They're now just jumping up early. Oh, wait a second. JNAPS avoids contact. And he is able to get rid of the ball, but this pressure is still on. Huge questions being asked of G2's defense. Can they hold off on this? Well, when JNAPS is winning challenges like that, absolutely they can.
Well, if Lucian was MVP of Game 1, JNAPS has to be MVP of this game. He's scored 3. He's providing options to his teammates whenever they're looking to clear the ball, and he's just been on another level when it comes to speed. I think himself and Chicago have really been confident start to finish here. Obviously one bad clear, but that's really all you can say negatively about JNAPS in this game. And it wasn't really entirely on him. I mean, he didn't have the same options available to him to pass. He's provided. Chicago's
slightly off, I think.
Yeah, pinched into the post, but good try there. Can't really blame FaZe for advancing.
I can't look at that now without thinking of, oh wait, they're through.
That's open.
AJ's just gone.
Whoa.
G2, what are you doing? You're winning with just over 20 seconds left. You don't have to send this.
Chicago, he went on a little bit of a boost journey there. Stole the 100 in the back corner. while Dries and JNaps had ball pressure. No third man in the play. That's a bit more like the G2 of old, unfortunately for them. Good read on the kickoff there, though. Fake attempted by FaZe. Chicago chips it up high, makes it difficult on them. The G2 have got good position here. Dries can waste a lot of time.
Yeah, take it to that corner, force AJ to move forward. And even from there, you realize that the offensive capabilities over in that corner are so few. Just allowed AJ to play it. That should drop to the floor in G2.
Okay.
Despite trying really hard to throw the ball into their own net on occasion, have managed to come out with game 2. I'm going to let them have a way with it, and I'm going to continue to praise them. The ideas are solid. Maybe just don't trip over yourself on occasion.
That boost run from Chicago is definitely a bad idea. I mean, no way is it a safe play. There's no way you can convince me it's a high percentage play to charge into the back left corner of the other team's half, while both your teammates are in the back right corner, and the play is as good as 50-50. I mean, if your teammates have got obvious control, sure, make the boost seal, get back into the midfield before it comes before the ball does it likewise. That's not what was happening here. It's a bit careless for G2, but the advantage they'd accumulated was sufficient, and they played a smart kickoff strategy at the end of the game, which does deserve praise. Credit to both teams, actually. FaZe tried to trick them.
You.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Boost is shiny. Go and collect the shiny thing.
That's fair,
we've
forgot about that.
We've been conditioned over years of playing games to always go and make sure you pick up the shiny thing in video games. It's just force of habit, really. And yeah, we're going to see whether or not that force of habit is going to continue on in this game, or whether or not we're going to see G2 back to their best. That might still be on target. AJ clamours to get rid of it. Dries jumps on past. That leaves JNaps his own opportunity, but that block drops it down to Gyro. Has he found the target? No, he has not.
Oh my. Gyro with open net miss of the day, and that's not an accolade you want to be going home with. That was completely uncontested, and he's just hit the post. And great defense, honestly, to deny the follow-up goal on what looked like another open net. But Gyro has let FaZe down there. They're in a lot of trouble in this series. They're already in a lot of trouble. Now it's
I love that, Gyro. Gyro realized he had no boost, but he also realized, hey, if I just stop here in front of the third man, he's going to have to hit me or go around me somehow. So well played, actually, for a little bit of a switch up on how you're going to approach defense. He's going to keep them at 0-0 for now. Another challenge goes a little bit beyond the G2 player's third man. Chicago loitering on his way back, lets JNaps take his own way through. Dries resets. And Dries, as you mentioned, his entire job is to build space for that offense to take their shots. Doing a great job of that since his move into the main roster. Back down the line, Illusion goes for net, wants to see whether or not G2 are out of position. Why not after what you saw in the last game? Maybe another opportunity. Demo might open up that gap. AJ, he goes for net, and JNaps couldn't quite make it.
Well, AJ's shooting just fast enough there. As Dries didn't realize he was going to be called upon that early. The second man being demoed in the play really ruined the rotation for G2 defensively. And a nice air roll on the power shot from AJ. That, without that little subtle air roll around the ball, I don't think it would have been possible to shoot that fast enough to beat the recovering Dries. So really good stuff there from FaZe. Will they be able to hold on to it? It's looked difficult for teams to hold on to leads. Strangely, strange ways here. That's a complete miss though. Dries had a free rebound, and he's gone straight past it. Nervous game for Dries in the middle of the series.
So strange as it came off a very, very solid performance. Yes, JNaps is going to get all of the plaudits for that Game 2 performance. Dries definitely did his own part on creating that space as Gyro over the top of the first player. Those challenges always seem like they're just bouncing close to the G2 net. Haven't quite gone in just yet. As Dries is bumped away. AJ can't fake out JNaps on the ball. He is going to get another shot at this. Chicago 2-on-2. Over to that corner. G2 just shepherding their opponents over into that corner every single time. You're allowed to play it. We're going to force you to play it from the most difficult angle we possibly can.
It's all about settling down now for G2. There's a chance again for Dries. Doesn't really get his car behind the ball, and it's lacking power. AJ, meanwhile, definitely not lacking power. Chicago saves it with an absolutely pristine, perfect touch into his own crossbar. That was avoiding a dunk as well as preventing the immediate goal. G2 don't have the dominant offense at the moment that they had in games 1 and 2. They've struggled to establish that pressure that we're really expecting to see from them. Drees is starting to pace up again, and that's a free touch for him. He should have this, and he dunks it underneath. The last man. Huge solo play for Drees. That's going to settle all the nerves.
Gyro, why?
Wyro.
He went up. I can't tell if he's faking it or if he's just out and out missed the ball and misjudged where it was going to bounce.
He's just missed it. I think he's just completely missed that one. You know, they're, like I said earlier, they're an emotional team. Gyro especially, such an emotional player. He started poorly and now it's all gone wrong. JKnaps puts G2 in front as the kickoff goes completely their way. Gyro needed to make a play on JKnaps there, not the ball. The ball was over him, but he could have still bumped JKnaps. That is the counter to what just happened. But yeah, he's just lost control here, and he needs a moment like the one Drees just had. He needs a play to go right for him to just get himself back in the game. Problem is, time is really running out.
It is yet again that FaZe have played a solid game and then just fallen apart for really no reason at all. I'm definitely saying game 1 that G2 upped the level of play, and they certainly did. This is just not required anything. This should have been better from them. As G2 maintain that offense, they'll try not to get caught out again like they got on a few times in the last game. As Illusion, unwanted second hit from him. Down the line, AJ tries to set up. It's straight into the path of Drees. They weren't moving back quick enough. Drees for the double tap. He ends up missing it. JKnaps, though, can continue the play. That's a get off the backboard. Gyro's still uncomfortable on the field. And that is so close to going in. It's on the line. It's finally crossed over. 3-1. And unfortunately, this has been a very lost defense.
And what a goal steal by Chicago as well. Although, to be fair to him, he's not sure if the defender has it, so he has to flip just in case. But that's just a nice little 2-goal cushion for G2. And with the defensive strategies they've picked out for the kickoffs, once again, it goes their way. They've absolutely outsmarted FaZe from the center circle today. With a 1v1 specialist like Drees in your team, you've got that faith that he's able to win those kickoffs more often than the opponents. And he's delivered there. JKnaps first on the scene again, and unfortunately for FaZe, they haven't had their cheating player ready to bump JKnaps when the cheating play goes wrong for them.
That 2-goal lead would normally be safe, but given how this series has been, maybe Chicago want to try and add a third to that already pretty comfortable cushion that they've got. AJ, well, he's out-mechanicked a little bit of a spill that they've had over in the defensive side. JKnaps lands on the ball. That's going to unleash Chicago. He's got AJ to try and beat. Aims for AJ's car, but he's not going to quite be able to do so. And that will do it. G2, the shot fired. They're going to take this series, and much required as well, because Shopify Rebellion have won this series 3-0. So we are going to be seeing them tomorrow.
If anybody's wondering, what does the warm-up lobby look like before we go live for the real games, just take a look at the last 20-30 seconds of that game. All players on the ball, just everybody's air dribbling. They knew it was already over. G2 weren't going to give up 3 from a full play, from a full rotational play in the midfield. But yeah, they've just succeeded where FaZe, they've excelled where FaZe have failed in this one. And Gyro, after missing that open net, just couldn't bounce back mentally. His head wasn't in the game. And that's something that he probably just has to work on. Some players are very good at that. They can make a misplay and then play some of the best Rocket League that they're capable of the very next minute. Unfortunately for him, it just set the tone for the rest of the game, and he just couldn't perform. But Drees, meanwhile, we have to give him praise because he didn't look great at the start of game 3, and then he pulled off the 1v1 play on Illusion to get G2 back in this. So brilliant from Drees. I think he looked good for G2 today. This is the sort of play they want to see from him moving on in this tournament. And with other teams struggling, this could be finally the event for G2 to make a deep run.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot there for G2 to be very positive about, especially, Dree's looking really good. The offense, as always, is clicking. But as always for G2 fans, there was the mistakes. There's always going to be that little bit in the back of your mind that the occasional calamity is on its way. This series probably didn't do too much to try and get rid of those fears, but we've got the rest of the weekend to try and figure it out. We're going to go to break. When we come back, the North American Major will continue.